Hello children, we are now ready with the next part of our discussion, why democracy. In this part, we will be discussing the arguments against democracy, that means the demerits of democracy, and arguments for democracy, that we can see the merits in this section of democracy. And in the last leg, we can see the broader meanings of democracy. Here, in order to know why we should have a democratic form of government, we must see its plus and minus points. That means merits and demerits. You know, every coin has two sides. Similarly, democracy has its own merits and demerits. First of all, let's see the demerits of democracy or arguments against democracy. First demerit is that leaders keep changing in a democracy. It leads to instability, right? After each and every election, new government is formed. You can take the example of our country, India, where every 5 years elections are conducted. New leaders can be seen, new ministers can be seen in government. So, leaders keep changing. It may cause instability. Then second demerit we see here is there is hardly any morality because democracy is based on political competition and power play. That means in democracy, winning an election is everything by hook or crook. Political parties and the candidates think that they must win elections. So in this type of political competition, and when they want to come to power, there is hardly any morality left to be followed by the candidates and the political parties. This type of competition makes them follow certain things which don't come under morality. Number 3, for making decisions, many people are to be consulted. That's why such decisions lead to delayed decisions. Means if one person in any other form of government had to take the decision, only one person could have done it. It is not at all time taking. The head of the government in a monarchy, in a dictatorship, may not consult any other person to take a major decision. But in democracy, the government has to consult many people and hence it leads to delays. Number 4, our elected people, means our representatives, they don't know the best interest of we people, we citizens in a country. That's why it may cause bad decisions on the part of our representatives. You know, we are in an indirect democracy. That is, our representatives, those who are elected by us, they decide everything. They are elected by us, they work for us, they work on behalf of us, and sometimes because of lack of knowledge of best interest of people, they may take bad decisions. There is a possibility. This possibility cannot be denied, right? 5th, many people say that democracy means corruption. Yeah, any country you see on the earth, any democratic country, corruption is there. Why is corruption there? Because it is based on electoral competition. Electoral competition makes the political parties and our political leaders to follow corrupt means. Sixth, ordinary people should not decide anything. Do we directly take part in decision making? It is not possible, of course. We don't. Hence, we should not decide anything for ourselves because these people don't know what is good for them. The government believes that. The elected representatives think that they don't know what is good for them. Only the representatives can understand what is good for the people of a country, and hence we people, ordinary citizens of this country should not decide anything. This is yet another demerit. After discussing the demerits of democracy, let's move on to merits of democracy or arguments which can be given for democracy. First of all, we can take off example of a country. Once again, China is coming up. From 1958 to 1961, there was a devastating famine in this country which claimed no less than 3 crore people. Can you imagine? 3 crore people died in these years 1958 to 1961 when there was a severe famine. I hope you know the meaning of famine. Famine means extreme scarcity of food, extreme shortage of food that caused deaths of nearly 3 crore Chinese people. During that time, India's economic condition was not at all better than China's. Do you get it? But did any such massive famine take place in India? Has it ever taken place in India? Even though we are not at all better economically than China, it has never. How can I say that if this type of famine would not have taken place in India or would not take place in India in future? In order to know that, we have to see the system of government that is working in these two countries. In India, we have multi-party system and hence democratic form of government. We have already seen in China, single party system is there. Over there no democracy works. We have seen. In India, our government is accountable because it is elected by people. Do you think the single party government, where people are left with no choice in China, would the government remain as responsible, as answerable, as accountable as Indian government? No, this won't happen because over there no other political party is there in China, so that in such a situation it can criticize the government. Press is not free over there, I mean media is not free over there to criticize the government when deaths rose, number of deaths rose. If this had happened in India because of criticism on behalf of the media, I mean the press and the opposition parties, the party forming the government would have taken steps to check deaths. Thank God, in India so far this type of famine has not been there. So many people feel that if a famine had taken place in India, it would have been better managed, better handled than the Chinese government did it between 1958 and 1961. This gives us the first merit of democracy. It says that a democratic government is a better government because it is a more accountable form of government than any other system. I hope you would agree. It is accountable because democratic government is more accountable because it is elected by people, and hence it has to work for the people. Right? Second, democracy improves the quality of decision making. A non-democratic government can take a rash decision. A decision can be hurriedly taken because in a non-democratic system, many people are not to be consulted for taking a major decision. One person, as the head of the government, can take the decision. It is his wish. He asks somebody or not. But democracy has developed such a system in which all the major decisions are to be taken through the system of meetings, consultations, etc. A number of people put their heads into decision making. If there is any possibility of a mistake, that mistake can be detected by some people when many people are involved in taking a decision. Yes or no? If only one person takes the decision, he may not be able to know what is wrong, what is right. But if many people are consulted, many people are holding meetings, then there is the possibility that mistakes would be indicated by some of them and they can be reduced. So, chances of committing mistakes are very few in a democracy when it comes to decision making, and hence we can say second merit of democracy, that democracy improves the quality of decision making. Right? Number 3, democracy provides a method to deal with differences and conflicts. In a country like India, there are so many languages spoken by the people. People practice a number of religions. Almost all the religions that are existent today in the world are practiced in our country. Yes or no? They have different castes also. We have so many diversities. When so many diversities are there, differences are there, is not there the possibility of clash, conflict between or among some sections of people? There is, of course there is. Yes or no? But in a democratic country like India, it provides a mechanism to deal with differences and conflicts. If any conflict arises, if any problem arises, the government interferes and the meetings are held between the two parties involved in a clash or conflict, and democracy in this case provides peaceful solution to this problem. So this problem can well be handled through peaceful solutions, right? Because in democracy there is no permanent winner, no permanent loser. So different groups can live with one another peacefully. It is needed. In a democratic country, it is needed that diverse groups in a country like India, they live together, right? So providing a mechanism to deal with differences and conflicts is a merit of democracy. Coming to the fourth merit of democracy, you can see democracy enhances the dignity of citizens. Right? Now, in India, democracy is based on principle of political equality. Yes or no? All the people in this country are equal before law. Law applies to all equally. Everybody has been given the right by the constitution of the country to go to any public place, whether somebody is rich or poor, illiterate or literate, There is no discrimination caused when it comes to using public utilities and going to public places. When it comes to voting, take the example of India again. Here we see the President of India has one vote. Similarly, the poorest of the poor person has also one vote. Again, that vote has one value. So doesn't it enhance the dignity of citizens? Yes, it enhances. Then, last but not the least one, it is a better form of government than any other because it allows us to correct its own mistakes. It is not that democracy never commits mistakes. A democratic government cannot commit mistakes. No one can guarantee it. Even when a mistake is committed, it can be checked. If a bad decision is taken by the democratic government, it can be changed. If the government itself feels that people are protesting against a decision which may have been a bad decision, the government may change. Or if the government is not changing, then the people would change the government itself. Hence, we can say that there is a room for correction. So, it is a better form of government than any other because it allows we people to correct the mistakes committed by democracy. So in this way we saw 5 merits of democracy and 6 demerits of democracy. Now coming to the last part of our discussion in this chapter, broader meanings of democracy. You know, each and every country today on the earth has huge population. Yes or no? Yeah. All democratic countries today have representative democracy or otherwise known as indirect democracy. What is its meaning? That means nowhere people, in no democratic country people directly participate in decision making. All the decisions are taken by the people indirectly. That means through the representatives elected by them. Yes or no? Then it is now necessary. Why? First of all democracies today involve a large number of people that I told you. Each and every democracy has a large number of people, huge population we have. Is it physically possible for the people to sit together and take a collective decision? I hope you would agree, no. Physically it is not possible for all the people to sit together and take a collective decision, and hence indirect democracy or representative form of democracy, right? Second thing, all people don't have time, they don't have desire or the skill for the participation in all decision making. These things are also required. Time is needed for decision making. All people may not be having. The desire may not be there with most of the people, and many people must be lacking skill while taking a decision. That's why indirect democracy. Then expanded notion of democracy. The principle of democracy can be expanded to different other organizations than the government that we discussed in this chapter. Democratic principles can not only apply to government alone, these principles can well apply to others, like family. A family can be a democratic one. How can we say? If in decision making within a family involves all the members, then we can call this family a democratic family. Teachers. If the teachers are allowing the students in a classroom situation to ask questions and the teachers are answering the questions put to them by the children, by the students, then it's some sort of democracy. The parents, there are many other organizations working with the country, within the country. Over there, democratic principles can be extended, right? Second thing, these principles that I am talking about, democratic principles, they are required to establish an ideal standard for all governments to reduce poverty and hunger. Poverty is there in each and every country, hunger is there in each and every country. Yes or no? Right? So, democratic principles are required to set up an ideal standard so that poverty can be checked, hunger can be reduced. Yes or no? The government should take such steps that poverty and hunger can be reduced and removed in course of time. Third, each and every citizen must be enabled by democracy to play an equal role in decision making. We have equal right to vote. Is it enough? This is not enough. Political equality is there. We all have right to vote, but this is not at all enough. All the citizens must be able to play an equal role in decision making. How? They must have equal information. They must have basic education to participate in decision making and equal resources for their use. Thank you.